Welcome to Binge Breakthrough, the podcast designed to help you finally break through the barriers that keep you stuck, feeling out of control around food. I'm Master Certified Coach Jane Pilger, and I want you to know that no matter how long you've been struggling or what you've tried, food freedom is possible, and I'm here to show you how. After years of therapy, eating disorders treatment, restrictive diets, and reading all the books, I was still stuck in the on-again, off-again cycle of restricting and binging until I was able to see it all from a new perspective that changed everything. Each week, I will share the strategies, tools, and mindset that allowed me to overcome my decades-long battle with binge eating. Your journey to body trust starts now. Let's dive in. Hello, trusted listener. Welcome to Binge Breakthrough. I consider you a trusted listener because I trust that you are listening to this podcast for a reason. I trust that you're going to hear something today that is insightful and impactful on your journey with food. So as I record this, it is the day before Halloween, and the holidays are right around the corner. As you listen to this, yesterday, I delivered the Binge-Free Holidays workshop. And if you want to get the replay of the workshop is over, but you can still get the replay if you are listening to this during 2024. The replay will be available for you really probably through Christmas, through the end of the year, 2024. So you can go to janepilger.com/holidays if you want to request a replay of that workshop. Now, here's the topic that is on a lot of people's minds this time of year during the holidays: the treats. How do you handle the holiday treats? So let's talk about it. And I want to share really my process and how it has evolved and how it's changed over the years as really my own relationship with food and my own journey in unwinding my binge eating has kind of progressed. I wanted to talk about really kind of the evolution, I guess, of this topic. The holidays are a challenging time with food for so many people. It's really interesting for me to think about really this time of year. As I sit here recording this, it is October 30th. I think my first binge was sometime in mid to late October that my very first binge happened. And it happened on a box full of fun-size candy bars. Basically, Halloween candy, essentially, was sent to me my freshman year of college. And I have proceeded to binge on a lot of Halloween candy over the years. So I have had binges on Halloween candy. I have had binges on, I've had so many different binges over the holidays. I would say there have been a lot of trips to Target, to the grocery store, where there are the aisles, the specialty. Here are the specialty items, whether it's all of the pumpkin or all of the mint chocolate items, whatever it is. I've had many trips to the store where I would go and I would buy a bunch of that stuff in secret. And then I would drive around and eat those types of things. When I worked in an office, there were many holidays where people would bring, there would be these gift baskets. People would bring baked goods into the office and put them in the break room. And I would sneak in there when nobody else was looking, and I would get large quantities and bring them back into my office. I would either eat them in my office behind closed doors, or I would put a bunch into a bag or a purse and then go to my car. And I would drive around and I would eat those items. I might start by eating a few things from a holiday, from the break room, let's say at the office, and then I would drive around to different stores or to different bakeries, especially if I could get, the holiday specific baked good items. I would do that. Trying to think if there have been some specific Thanksgiving holiday binges. Not so much. I think most of my binges have been either around Halloween, Halloween candy, and then Christmas, whether it might be a party, it might be going to a party, stopping on the way home, buying something on the way home. Never, of course, I don't think I have ever binged. I haven't ever binged in front of anybody else. Always, always in secret. And I find that for the most part, this is very common, that we would never want anybody else to see us eat in the way that we eat when we eat in secret. So let's go back to the question, holiday treats. What do you do with holiday treats? I get this question a lot because people ask, do you plan them? Do you just let yourself eat whatever you want? Do you limit holiday treats? How do you deal with it? How do you handle holiday treats? As I said, this really has been an evolution for me. So if I really think back to previous holidays, I have had holidays where I had no Halloween candy. It was almost like a challenge. I can remember with several other people being a part of the no Halloween candy challenge. And it was like this, I don't know, competition. And you could only win if you ate 0 Halloween candy. I've also had holidays where I've had no sugar, no flour, no treats, none of the various other things. And I was very proud of myself for the willpower, for the dedication, for the determination of not having any of these things. I have also had holidays where I pretty much ate anything that was offered to me, where I was kind of more in the, sure, no food is off limits. I'm going to eat anything. I've had those types of holidays. I've also had holidays where the only things I ate were in secret in my car or sneakily taken from the break room, kind of like some of the stories I was telling earlier. Those were the only kind of treats I ate, were kind of not really, I wasn't allowing myself to eat treats, but I was eating them anyway, but only in secret. So those are kind of like the different variations of holidays that I've experienced over the years. But here's how it started to evolve. When I really started to give myself permission to eat all foods, it was a process. So what I would do is I would go to the store and I would buy things that looked, I would say, okay, you have permission. You can eat anything you want, anything at all. And so I would spend my time. I would go to these holiday aisles and I would really get curious. What do I want here? If all things are permissible, if all things are possible, but I know I don't want to eat all of these things. What do I really want? So I would really spend time deciding what looked good. What do I want? What don't I want? In the past, when I really didn't give myself permission, and the only time I would even allow myself into those aisles is if I was during a binge, then I didn't really care. It was like, what was the cheapest? I'm sure I picked things that I preferred, but I was not doing this with permission. I was really kind of eating behind my back. So as I was giving myself permission and I would look through and I'm really deciding, what do I want? What do I like? I brought a good amount of food home. Personally, I want to be a person who can have food in the house and not feel out of control around it. I want to be able to have food, to eat sometimes, not eat sometimes, to be able to enjoy it, and also to be able to say no to it. That is the relationship that I have cultivated, that I have created and curated for myself. As I was doing this, and when I would bring these foods into the house, were there times that I binged on these foods? Yes, there were. There were also a lot of times when I didn't binge, when I was able to truly enjoy these foods and really figure out what I liked and I didn't like. My husband and I, we would, let's say I brought in some sort of cookies. We would have lunch together. We would eat some cookies after lunch and we would sit there and we would talk about it. What do you like about this cookie? Why don't you like it? Oh, I like this one better than that one because of this reason. Ew, this texture tastes a little weird. This flavor tastes super fake. And I got to the point where I really haven't done this in general. I don't eat food I don't like. Whether we're talking about, I don't know, a grilled chicken breast and broccoli, or we're talking about cookies or cheesecake or carrot cake, I don't eat food that I don't like. And so I have gotten to the place where as I'm exploring with these holiday treats, if I don't like a cookie, if I don't like a treat, I don't eat it. So there have been plenty of things we have also thrown away. I have had to work to be comfortable throwing food away. I've had to work to be comfortable knowing I can get more food later. I can get more cookies later. I can eat any cookie in this world that I want. Now, I figure out, why do I want to eat certain cookies? Why don't I want to eat certain cookies? When do I want to eat certain cookies? When don't I want to eat certain cookies? It is a process. It is an evolution. So I've been doing this now for several years, and I find that it's always interesting to me when the holiday season rolls around and when I'm really starting to think about the holiday kind of special foods and the things that are going to be around. Every year that passes, I have less and less interest around the specialty foods. There are still my favorites. There are still some of the things that I enjoy, but it's like my body is finally convinced I am not going to take these things away again. What happens especially when we've been on the pendulum of restriction and binging, where we take foods away and then the brain and the body kind of freak out and try to get as much as they can. When we're on this pendulum, the brain, the body, the nervous system does not know if you are going to take these foods away again, particularly if you have a long-standing history of dieting, of restricting, of taking and eliminating these foods, particularly if you have been eating less than your body actually needs. Your body will do whatever it has to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. So it can take some time as you change your relationship with food, as you stop really restricting, as you get out of the dieting and the deprivation cycle and the mindset. It takes some time for your body to get on board to realize you're not going to turn around and start restricting again. But when we're on this pendulum where one day or 1 week or 1 month, we are eliminating all of the foods or certain food groups, and then the next month we're eating everything, when we have that big kind of backlash and that big pendulum swing, the body doesn't really trust that you're not going to just go right back to it. So it takes some time. And I feel like it has taken me years for my body to finally be like, okay, I think we actually really are going to be able to eat some of our favorite things for the rest of our lives. Like this is not at threat or at a risk of being taken away again. So this again is a process. It does take some time. And as I go through this, so it's like I have holiday specific treats in my pantry. But when I think about the number of holiday specific treats that I've had in prior years, I had probably more in the past. Even now, when I go and I walk through those aisles, I still like to look. I still kind of like to see like, ooh, is there anything here that I really am curious about, that really I want to try? And I find that the more that I do this and the more I give myself permission and the more discerning I am, the more really picky I get. The more I'm not going to just buy something because it's pumpkin flavored or because it's mint chocolate flavored, which is my favorite, by the way. Mint chocolate, anything I love. But I also am discerning about mint chocolate. So I'm not just going to buy some lesser quality type of thing because it just happens to be mint chocolate. So that's kind of how I deal with holiday treats. Your relationship with holiday treats will be a process. This is not going to be something that you just like figure out in one podcast and even in one holiday season. It will be a process. It will be something for you to work through. So I was talking to a client yesterday. She's a part of, I have a short-term offer that I created for one-on-one support during the holiday season. And it's called Peaceful and Present. And I was talking to a Peaceful and Present client yesterday, and she's been through some programs that they say, give yourself unlimited access to all the food, all the cookies you can eat, and eventually you won't want them anymore. Just keep eating cookies, and eventually you're not going to want the cookies anymore. I don't agree with this process. I also don't agree with the mindset of eliminate all of this stuff and you won't ever want it again. So there's two extremes there. We have the extreme of eat all the cookies anytime you want, give yourself unlimited access. Anytime you want a cookie, just eat a cookie, and then eventually you'll get tired of the cookies. There's that extreme. The other extreme is eliminate, don't eat any cookies, no sugar, no flour, no Halloween candy, no, and then you'll never want it again. Personally, I don't find either of these extremes to be effective. They both end up creating that pendulum response that may leave you feeling physically and emotionally pretty bad. If you have unlimited, unfettered access to all of the cookies you ever want anytime a cookie sounds good, you're probably going to end up putting on a lot of weight and then feeling bad in your body. Alternately, if you're not eating anything and you're saying, I'm not going to eat any of these things, and you do end up eating a cookie or you do end up eating something at a holiday party, then you think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this again tomorrow. So then you might end up eating a bunch. Now, it may take, as you go through this evolution in this process, it may take you years to get to your ideal relationship with food and with the holiday day treats, and that is okay. I'm going to give you a 3-step process for you to figure this out. Number 1, decide what relationship you want to have with holiday treats. You decide. Number 2, get clear on what this looks like. Very clear. Imagine it in your mind. What relationship do you want and what does this look like? Now, number 3, ask yourself, what will need to change in order for me to create this vision that I have for myself? Okay. Decide what relationship you want. Get really clear on what it'll look like. And number 3, ask yourself, what's going to need to change? There will be times that you end up saying no to yourself. Now, I want you to know this. Saying no to yourself, let's say you want a cookie and you say no to yourself, this does not mean it's automatically restriction. A lot of people tell me, I'm trying not to restrict, so I never tell myself no. That's not restriction. Like that's not restriction, basically. Saying no to yourself is not automatically restriction. The energy behind the no, the reason behind the no matters. I say no to myself a lot, but I like my reasons. So it might sound like this. Yeah, that really would be delicious, but I've actually eaten plenty today. Yes, it would be delicious. And this other thing I'm going to eat later is going to be even better. I say no to myself a lot around TV, around staying up late to read a really good book or to watch another episode on Netflix. I say no to those things because I want the benefit of a good night's sleep more than I want the entertainment of another show or of the next chapter of my book. And sometimes I say no to a holiday treat because I want the benefit of sustained focus or a good night's sleep more than I want the entertainment of something sweet. So think about what are your kind of like thoughts and perceptions around saying no to yourself? Does it feel like you either have to say no to everything or never say no at all? Notice the extreme in both of those situations. We're looking for a place that's in the middle. There is a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyment to be found in the middle, not on the extremes. Now, speaking of fun and enjoyment, the last question I have for you as you think about your relationship with holiday treats: what else beyond treats, beyond the specialty foods and the things you only get once a year, what else do you have to look forward to this holiday season? If treats are all that you have to look forward to, it's going to be much harder to say no in the moment. So the question is, what relationship do you want to have with holiday treats? For me, I want to be selective about them. I want to enjoy the ones that I do have, and I want to truly savor them. And I want them to be a small part of my overall holiday enjoyment and experience. I have painted a clear mental picture of what I want for myself, and I am creating that day by day. And you can too. This is a process that is developed over time. It starts with a decision and then a vision, and then small steps and actions towards turning that vision into reality. Now, if you are listening to this podcast when it airs live, which is in early November of 2024, I have two things I want to tell you about. Number one is this special limited time holiday offer. It's called Peaceful and Present. This is a way, if you have ever been curious about working with me, if you have ever thought about I really wonder what it would be like to work with Jane. If you would like some one-on-one support to figure out your relationship with holiday treats, this is an amazing opportunity for you. There are only a handful of spots left. I have a limited number of spots. There are a handful left. If you want to check that out, and it is the holiday season of 2024, go to the link in the show notes and you can see if there are any spots left. The other opportunity I have for you is to join me inside Cultivate. Cultivate is my group coaching program that is filled with incredible people who are all on the same journey to cultivating a peaceful relationship with food. I do not open this group very often because I am very careful about who I bring in, and I am very intentional to create a safe environment for the people who are inside. It is open right now for a very limited time. So if you want more information about that, there is a link in the show notes. If you happen to be listening to this and Cultivate isn't open, you're listening at another time, Cultivate's not open, go to this link and get on the mailing list to be notified the next time that it opens. I truly believe that the best healing happens in community, when you are around other people where you can feel like you aren't broken. You're not alone in this. You can talk about and get support for your struggles. All right. That's what I have to tell you about holiday treats. Tune in next week when we're going to talk about telling the full story about your binges. You're not going to want to miss it. I'll see you then. Thank you for listening to Binge Breakthrough. If you would like personalized guidance, insight, and support to implement the tools, skills, and concepts you are learning on this podcast, I have just what you need. Cultivate an entirely new relationship with yourself and with food, alongside other women who know and understand your struggles. Coaching, connection, and change are waiting for you. Spots are limited, so sign up today. Find out more at janepilger.com/cultivate.